There we go. We're live. Welcome. This is another Training Sites Ask Me Anything. Well, it's kind of Ask Me Anything, except usually people don't come on and ask questions at this point, which is fine because I just get a couple minutes to ramble about online course creation, creating learning campuses, teaching online, all of the stuff that goes behind it. And what I wanted to do today is really spend some time just going through what's really involved in all of this online course creation stuff. It's really disheartening in some respects, but exciting in other respects that there is such a great opportunity with teaching online course creation, building communities, all of that great stuff that we try and talk about on a regular basis here, and also train people at trainingsites.io. Selfish plug, go join the community if you haven't already, and start interacting and learning on some of the materials that we have there. But it's hard because if I go to LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook pages, or I go to my LinkedIn accounts, or I check my email or any other social media, I'll find that there is someone talking about building online courses, which is fine. However, it's very, very difficult when someone extends past building a course. And there's more to building a course than just building a course. If you want people to see it, if you want to teach people about something, if you want to spend time with them and help them grow and help them get an outcome perhaps that they haven't gotten before, that they goal that they have for an outcome, that can be an exciting time. But there's more work than just creating some content for them to take a look at. In fact, there's a ton of work that needs to be done. And that's where part of the problem is, and it's disheartening because people see that they can create a course or they have an idea for the course, but turning that into an actual reality can be really difficult. So what I want to do today is just talk a little bit about what's actually happening behind the scenes if you are creating a course. Some of the problems that people run into are things that they don't, or you didn't necessarily think about when you were, reading the social media post and going, man, yeah, I could create a course. There's more to creating the course, and especially getting people to take it, because unless you're it's hard to give away a course right now. That's how bad it is. It's hard to give away a course right now. You still have to market free courses, and actually selling courses is very, very difficult. There's a set structure and process to it to be successful at it. And a lot of the courses that are being made are not necessarily ones that should be made. They're not ones that people necessarily want to learn in the format that it's being presented. It's not the content that people are looking for, or it isn't content at all that people are looking for. It doesn't answer a question or answer a problem that people have. There's tons of reasons for not creating courses, even though you've got a great idea for one. It doesn't mean that, in fact, it's actually going to be consumed, again, whether that's free or paid. And if you're paying or having people paying for courses, that's even a harder thing than giving it away. Even though giving it away is hard, it's even harder if you're considering what am I going to do with it after the fact if I'm going to sell it. What platforms do I need? How do I do it? How do I message it? Where do I sell it? How much do I ask for it? There's just a ton of stuff that's there. Now, I'm going to share with you in a little bit. We have a campus blueprint, which basically goes through a checklist of items. And part of the problem with the blueprint that we did up is that there's 260 some steps, which is hugely overwhelming. So what we broke it down into is chunks, and that's actually what our campus blueprint program about, is getting those chunks in place and having those chunks in bite-sized sizes that you can consume them or add them or use them as you need. Now, I'm going to go through that in a little bit. We'll just take a look at them. The other thing I wanted to do is step back a little bit and just take a look and see, well, what is it that people actually want to learn about, or what are the things that they should be thinking about just as they're getting started. And we did that ourselves internally when we were actually figuring out, what we're going to do with our course. So I'll just give you an example here. Let me just open one up here. I think we got a page. Una momento. We'll just get that one moved over. got a lot of different pages on the go here. Let's move. Just going to move this one over. There we go. So I'll move that over to the screen here, and we'll open up. This is one of the tools that we use here, so I think it's internal. There we go. Just going to open up some of the research here. And this is just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that we do in the background here when we're building out for ourselves and or clients. This is our internal one. This is the one that are pretty interesting here that I think anyway. I was taking a look, if you look on the screen here, training site roadblocks. So what I was trying to do is try and figure out what are the actual roadblocks that people who are building training sites and or selling courses, what are the roadblocks or things that block them from actually doing it. And in fact, even though I'm doing this for training site roadblocks, the thing is that if you're serious about selling a course or building a campus or building a community, you're going to have to go and see the people that I'm looking at, that avatar, those people that I'm trying to help. What are the roadblocks that they have, or what are the ones that they run into? And just to give you an idea, here's one here, training site roadblocks. You'll see there's 10 that's there. Let's just take a quick look at some of them, just so that you see how it affects us and the people that we help, but how it might affect you and the people that you are trying to help. Now, the interesting thing is, if you're teaching someone how to play guitar, if you're teaching someone how to do gardening, if you're teaching someone how to do a complex process at work or at the office, or get people accredited to be able to provide a service, they have challenges too. It's not just people trying to figure out how to create courses or build a learning site. It's anyone that you're trying to teach has some roadblocks or things that stop them from, that you have to solve for them or fix for them. And that's one of the things I think, that you're really going to have to spend some time on, is understanding your target market, or that avatar of who you want to help. What are the things that are stopping them from helping themselves right now? So here's just a couple ones that you'll run into. Resource limitations. So starting an e-learning platform, significant investment in the technology, content creation, and marketing, which can be a problem. So if you're marketing to a particular group of people and they are running into resources, whether it be money in this particular case, or time, or things that they have to purchase to actually learn stuff. So these are all problems that, that this group of people run into. Technical challenges. If you're going to be hosting your own e-learning platform, or you want to have it as part of your business, which is one of the things that I recommend, it takes some technology to get stuff done for you. And some people just may not be interested in that. There's always questions about quality of the content that gets created. This is one that we run into all the time. And especially today, if you go to, there's such a wide extreme now, you'll find people who have really, really great content, excellent content that has been professionally produced, and then you'll have people who have content which is absolute nonsense, that is unintelligible. There's a wide range or spectrum of it, but you have to be in a position where you're not only comfortable with a certain level of quality of your content, but you have to have the things in behind it, the infrastructure in behind it to create it. And I'm talking about money, people, and time. So, and then the other one I just want to mention there, that, it says quality content, but if you look, it says the subject matter, but it also an educational design and production. It's one thing to create really, really fancy and professionally produced talking head videos, as an example, but if it doesn't have any context to the actual course material and transfer of information, then it's not really worthwhile, is it? So you got to make sure that the content is there. Community engagement. I think anyone, whether you have a community of 1 or a community of 100 or 1,000, you have to have a way to get these people involved if you're building out a learning campus. If it's not just about learning some content and not really working with them as they apply and experience the use of that, it can be really difficult. So you're going to have some kind of engagement process put in place, and we recognize that. Competition. There's all sorts of competition for us. Retention and engagement. So, if someone's going to do a membership program, or if we charge on a monthly membership, how do we make sure that people stay on? What is the actual engagement rate of the people that do stay on? How many months do they stay active? So being able to retrain them over time, maximize their use of the platform that we've created, but also our ability to provide quality content that keeps them engaged. These are all things that we have to think about. And then, the last ones, I think, are ongoing problems that these people run into who we're trying to help. So as times change, what do you do with the platform that you've done? If you're going to make sure that you want to make yourself visible, how do you do that on social media, these other platforms? How do you market it? How do you use email? How do you use social media? How do you do webinars, live platforms, that kind of thing? It can be very, very difficult. Okay, so these are all things that you have to know if you want to actually sell a course and provide training and teaching online. It's not just about the mechanics of creating an online course. So these are things that we recognize that people have, and the question becomes, okay, so how do I do that from here? What do I need to do to be able to apply or put this together? And that's where we put in the effort. And really, if you think about it, there's a couple ways that this can be done for us, and this is the way our business works. We have the Done For You program, which is basically, we do the research for you. We take a look at these things. We find out what your particular avatar is, the user-generated content descriptions, the categories, how we're going to do outreach, all of these things to answer these problems for people. So that's a Done For You program. On the other one is a Done With You program, which is we help you go through this, but you do the work and we guide you through that and help you do it. So those, there's kind of ways to do it, Done For You, Done With You. I think there's value in doing this part of the research and actually spending some time sticking with the understanding your customers and who you're teaching, and be able to add that feedback and learn something from the process. So common decisions, I'm just going to go through these quickly, because what we're trying to do is take a look. We look at our roadmap, which I'll show you in a second, the blueprint. But I look at this and I go, okay, great. What are the decisions that the people that we're helping are going to have to make? So you should be able to ask yourself and say, what are I know what the concerns are and the roadblocks for people, but what are the decisions or the questions that they are going to ask themselves in order to figure out what is it that I should be doing at this point? So take a look at this, most common decisions. So we broke them into some categories for us. It's like planning. If you are going to be doing a course and you've got the problems identified, the roadblocks for people, you're going to have to figure out, what's my big picture? How am I going to plan this? Do I have a target audience or subject area? Do I have a unique value proposition? What is the scope of the content that I'm going to provide? Not the content of the course, but the content of the community that you're building, the content of the campus you're building. Do you have goals? Do you have all of your brand identities, names, logos, colors, researches on all your competitors, kind of thing? Business models. Am I going to be doing a subscription, a one-time freemium with paid and free? What am I going to be doing? So these are decisions that you are going to have to make when you're building out your site. And it doesn't matter what you're teaching or what kind of course you have, you're going to have this material, or at least thought about it, so that you can make some decisions on how you want to apply them. So here's another 10 just to look you. Course topics, structures of the courses, delivery models, editing tools, scheduling it, incorporating learning styles, assessments, handouts, all of that great stuff for courses, scalable updates, all of those things. The technical setup for it, the marketing and sales for it. Again, 10 there. Community building and engagement, operations and management, user experience and design, analytics improvement, professional development, legal. So if we look at these ones, I've got what? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10 times 10. There's 100 decisions that you as a course creator are going to have to make, or at least consider, when you're picking these things out. So the only reason I'm going through these is just to say, hey, is this something that you have to do before you get started? No, it isn't. But you should know what they are as you get started and pick the ones that are appropriate at a minimum to get you started, or at least have them under consideration. And that's one of the big problems that we run into on a regular basis, is we have people who have an idea for a course, but they look at a list like this and they absolutely get overwhelmed and don't even start. I'm going to suggest that, if you follow the steps we're going to go through in the map, you'll at least be able to get a course created and a minimum of a platform created to at least test out your idea and do it as a test bed. And if you haven't heard any of these sessions before, I often talk about the different kinds of courses: mini courses, micro courses, and full courses. And I think, creating mini courses and or micro courses as part of a larger program or a mastery program, there's some real value in testing these things out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and not waiting to make the big mastery course before you even try stuff. So this is an example of some of the things you've got to consider. I'll put some handouts in here so that you can actually see them or download the blueprint and have a good idea of some of the topics that come up. But at the end of the day, I just want you to think about it. Okay, I got an idea for a course, but what do I want to do with it, and why would anyone care about it? It's not like putting a blog post out and just stuffing content out. If you're going to be charging for this, you have to make sure that it's something for someone wants and is willing to pay for and helps them out and answers a question, and it's something that you can provide. Often, we run into situations where people have an idea for a course, and what they find during the research and getting this all done out and just trying to figure stuff out is that they don't have the answers that people want, and there's no reason for the course. And even if they do have the answers aren't the ones that answer the questions that are specific enough for the people to get the outcome they want. So just kind of stuff in the background. Keep your eye on that. It's interesting that a lot of people don't do this. And of the people that don't do it, these are the people that we find not only struggle, but usually fail when they're trying to go out and market their courses and actually build an education business. So let me take a look, and I'm going to open up this one right here. We got a couple mind maps for you. Let me see if I can do this one bigger for you. We'll get that one open again. Got a couple mind maps. Let me just squeeze that one in. Just going to open this one up a little bit on the page so that you can see it. And this is a training site campus blueprint that we have, and I'll just minimize some of the pieces that you can see so you can see some of the steps that we have up here. And these are the steps that we suggest that you go through when you're doing it. And again, we have breakdowns for all of these ones so that you can actually see them. And the nice thing is that if you do that first step, looking at the goals, doing your research, the business model, the other kind of sections of it, like this is starting, this is building, and this is growing your business. So we talk about starting, building, and growing. You can as long as you do the start, the build, and the grow, you do them in that order, you'll be fine. Some people do with the build, they build the course, and then they try and grow, but they haven't done the start. Some people will do the start and the build, but they don't do the grow part. Some people are really, really good at the grow part, but they didn't do start, and they do really ad hoc build, and they try their darndest to go and actually sell the build part, but the build is awful, and it ends up not being a long-term process. So that's just an example of one. I'll show you another one that's a little bit different set out, and how complex these can be if you want to get into some of these sections. So here's a course content one. Hopefully you can see this one here. I'll just open it up a little bit so it's a little bit bigger. And we have these maps built out. These are checklists for us when we build sites for people, but these are the things that kind of have to get answered for us as we're building it, either for you or with you. And we have a set process that goes with each of these, but this is just a guideline as to what happens. So even when you come up with a course, you have to make sure that the platform that you're putting it on supports the way that you organize the course, or vice versa. I'll give you an example. One of the tools that we use, there's a couple that we use that are based on WordPress, and these ones are WordPress plugins. There's one called Tutor LMS, there's Lifter LMS, and LearnDash. Those are kind of the three big ones in the WordPress industry. But those ones, they have different pieces to their courses. So for example, in LearnDash, you can have a course. A course can have sections. The sections can have lessons, and the lessons can have topics. And all of the courses, the lessons, and the topics can all have quizzes. And the course can have course materials. The course content can be available to everyone at the start in any order. The course material can be only consumed, so it's set up in lesson by lesson by lesson, and it has to be completed before it can go on. Some of it is dripped so that it's lesson 1, week 1, lesson 2, week 2, etc. So all of the course options are things that you have to kind of decide based on what it is that you're trying to teach in the course material. And then, just things like badges and scoring. I haven't even talked about gamification. There's whole sections on gamifications. If you have a course, I don't know what the stats are today. They change over time, but many of the times people have courses, they even pay for courses, but they only finish the first couple lessons. They don't even finish the course. So how do you get people to consume all of the content? How do you make sure that they understood it? There's all sorts of stuff that are over and around courses that have to be considered. So a lot of pieces in place here. I just wanted to talk just a little bit today about this whole idea of courses and creating courses and online course creation as a separate thing by itself. It's absolutely not a separate thing by itself. In fact, it's just one tiny part of a bigger picture of building out an education business, a training business, a learning campus, and really helping people out, sharing your expertise, and building a community for them to share their experiences with. So, just take it with a grain of salt. If you want to find out about these things, go join our community at trainingsites.io. It's free to join. We got all sorts of great information in there, and as well as these kind of classes that are free to join in. Plus, we have things like our campus blueprints where you can see the big picture, expand and contract the pieces that you need at the time, and ask questions about that. So I think I'm going to pack it in today. How long were we talking? 25 minutes. Oh, I had some fun with this. I'll try and put the transcription and stuff on the website, and it'll also be in the library at trainingsites.io, as well as on YouTube. If you do have any questions, make sure to just ask in the description below, or DM me, let me know what's going on, and I'll do my best to help you. Take care, expect the best.